I used to believe that love could endure anything: arguments, stress, long work hours, even distance. I thought that when two people truly care for each other, they could make it through anything. What I wasn't prepared for was a kiss. Just one. Because according to my wife, Sophie, that all was just a stupid, meaningless kiss, she said. But it wasn't the kiss that broke me. It was the way she said it. It was a quiet Sunday afternoon when she told me, the kind of day when life feels too calm to be real. I had just gotten back from the gym and was scrolling through emails when Sophie came in. She seemed nervous, but not panicked or guilty, just different. She sat beside me, too close, but there was tension in her body. I need to tell you something before you hear it from someone else, she said. That alone made my stomach drop. I turned to her, trying to hold on to the image of the woman I thought I knew. And then she said it, quickly, almost emotionless, like she was ripping off a Band-Aid. I kissed someone last night. My mind couldn't process it right away. I blinked, unsure if I'd heard her correctly. You what? I asked. She bit her lip, looking down. It wasn't planned. I had too much wine, and it just happened. It didn't mean anything, Lucas. It was just a kiss. That phrase echoed in my mind louder than anything else she said. Just a kiss. I didn't even ask who it was. Not immediately. The name didn't matter. Whether it was a stranger or someone I knew, what hurt wasn't about who it was. It was about what had happened. Sophie wasn't impulsive. She didn't drink excessively. More than anything, she was calculated. If she kissed someone, it wasn't by accident. It was a choice. I stared at her, trying to make sense of her calm demeanor, her lack of panic. She didn't think I'd leave. She just didn't want me to hear it from someone else. That spoke volumes. I stood up slowly, not out of anger, but because I couldn't stay there anymore. She watched me with a look I knew well. The half-guilt, half-defensive look of someone who knows they've done something wrong, but still hopes you'll downplay it. It didn't mean anything, she repeated. I was drunk, Lucas. I didn't even enjoy it. I came home thinking about you. That part stung. If I was on her mind, why wasn't I enough to stop her? She added quickly, I didn't sleep with him. I swear. It was just a kiss. Just one. I didn't respond right away. I walked into the kitchen, filled a glass with water, and stared out the window, breathing slowly. I wasn't angry in the way people expect. No shouting, no breaking things, no pacing, just silence. The kind of silence that comes when you realize something inside of you has snapped. I thought about all the times I defended her, when friends pointed out how flirty she could be. I remembered all the nights I stayed up late helping her with work projects, being her support. I remembered planning our anniversary dinner 2 months ago, hoping to reconnect because I'd felt her pulling away, but I had blamed stress, not disinterest. All of that, everything I'd done, was still sitting in that glass of water untouched, ignored. I turned back to her, my voice calm. So that's supposed to make it okay? She looked startled by my even tone. No, I know it doesn't. I didn't think it would matter this much if I was honest with you. I laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was insane. You didn't think kissing someone else would matter that much to your husband? Her face twisted as though I was being unreasonable. It wasn't an affair, she said defensively. I didn't sleep with him. I didn't lie to you. I told you the truth. I nodded slowly. You're right. You didn't lie. You just betrayed me yesterday, and hoped telling me today would make it noble. That shut her up, because we both knew the truth. She hadn't confessed out of love. She confessed out of fear. Fear that someone else at the party would tell me first. Her honesty wasn't love, it was strategy, and that was worse. I grabbed my jacket and keys. Where are you going? She asked, her voice cracking for the first time. I don't know, I replied, away from this conversation. Away from me? She said, standing quickly. Lucas, please. You're blowing this out of proportion. That phrase, the way she tried to minimize it, burned. I turned to her one last time and said firmly, I would have taken a bullet for you, and you gave your lips to someone else like it was nothing. You don't get to decide how big this is for me. I walked out, That night I sat in my car for over 2 hours, parked in front of a 24-hour gas station. I didn't cry. I didn't text anyone. I just sat there, hands on the wheel, staring into the quiet night, wondering how something as simple as a kiss could unravel a whole life. But that's the thing. It wasn't the kiss. It was what the kiss revealed about her. That I wasn't enough. That her commitment was conditional. That all the promises she'd made could disappear with the right lighting and a glass of wine. In one careless moment, she showed me who she really was. And I believed her. I never moved back in. In the days that followed, Sophie sent long messages. She said things like, "Don't throw everything away over one mistake," and "You're being dramatic." She even tried sending photos of us, little memories to remind me of better times. But all I saw were lies I hadn't noticed when those pictures were taken. She begged me to come home. I didn't respond, because Sophie didn't lose me when she kissed another man. She lost me the moment she thought I'd stay anyway. I didn't return home that night. I stayed in a modest hotel just outside of town. Not because I needed to run from Sophie, but because I did want to give her the satisfaction of knowing where I was. I needed silence, distance, a place where I could breathe without feeling like every breath was contaminated by her betrayal. The room was small, quiet, and plain. No fancy furniture, no framed photos, just a bed, a chair, and four walls that didn't lie to me. I stared at the ceiling in the dark for hours, trying to make sense of everything. Not just the kiss. That part was simple. She kissed another man. But what I couldn't understand was her calmness, her tone, her lack of fear when she told me. She didn't expect me to leave. That part hit harder than anything else. Somewhere along the way, Sophie had gotten so comfortable in my loyalty that she thought it was permanent, unconditional. I was the kind of man who would absorb any blow as long as she told me, "I love you," afterward. And maybe I was, until that day. The next morning, I didn't text her. I didn't check my phone at all. I walked to a small diner 2 blocks from the hotel, ordered coffee, and sat by the window. Life outside kept moving. Cars passing. People laughing. A father holding his daughter's hand as they crossed the street. Ordinary moments. But to me, they felt extraordinary. For the first time in years, I wasn't thinking about Sophie's moods. I wasn't trying to make her happy, or wondering if I'd said something wrong, or if she still loved me the way I loved her. I was just sitting, and for the first time in a long time, I felt peace. Not the kind of peace that feels euphoric, but the kind that feels earned, quiet, grounded. I pulled out a notepad and wrote one sentence across the page. "Let her live with the silence she gave you." Back home, Sophie started to unravel. I didn't see it firsthand, but I knew exactly how it went because I'd seen this pattern before, not just in relationships, but in people who push too far and expect you to come crawling back. At first, she waited confidently. She thought, "He just needs time. He'll come around." Then the silence stretched. 1 day turned into 2. 2 days turned into 5. Her confidence turned to questions. Why isn't he calling? Why hasn't he come back? She started reaching out, small messages at first, disguised as concern. "Hey, just checking if you're okay, or can we please talk?" I read every one of them, but I didn't reply because Sophie didn't deserve my words. Not anymore. She'd already shown me how little they meant to her. A week later, I returned to the house. Not to stay, but to pick up my things. She was there, of course, sitting on the couch pretending to read, but really just waiting. The moment I walked in, her eyes lit up. "Thank God," she said. I said nothing. I walked past her straight to the bedroom and started packing. She followed me in, standing in the doorway. I was folding shirts and unplugging chargers when she watched me as if I were taking something that belonged to her. "You're really doing this?" she asked. I didn't stop packing. She moved closer. "It was a mistake. Lucas, I told you the truth. Doesn't that mean something?" I looked at her, really looked at her, and for the first time, I didn't see the woman I once loved. Instead, I saw someone who thought honesty could erase all the damage. Someone who believed that saying "I love you" could somehow wipe away the betrayal. "I'm not doing this because you kissed someone," I said finally. "I'm doing this because you thought I wouldn't leave after you did." Her face twisted, and she started to argue, but I cut her off. You didn't have to say it. I knew. I could feel it. Her voice rose as she pleaded. I've apologized. I've been texting you for days. I'm trying to fix this. I shook my head. You're not trying to fix anything. You're trying to undo a choice you made when you thought I'd still be here. She fell quiet, the realization sinking in. I finished zipping up the last bag, picked it up, and walked to the door. The neighbor's dog, Charlie, who always barked when I came home, was silent, just like the house. She followed me again. So that's it? You're just gone, she asked. I opened the door, but before I stepped out, she reached for my arm. Lucas, please. I stepped away gently but firmly. I stayed loyal when I felt unseen. I stayed kind when you went cold. I stayed patient while you drifted. I gave everything, and you gambled away for a kiss you said meant nothing. Tears welled up in her eyes. It was just a moment. It didn't mean anything. It meant everything to me, I replied. And then I left. For weeks after, her calls kept coming. I never blocked her. I didn't need to. My silence was the answer. It hurt her more than any argument could. It wasn't just my absence. It was the absence of the version of her that only existed when I loved her. She began to send long messages, pages of confessions, explanations, guilt-ridden monologues. I didn't read most of them, because healing doesn't come from rereading words from someone who didn't value you when it mattered. I moved into a small one-bedroom apartment on the outskirts of town. It was clean, simple, and peaceful. No shared memories. No reminders of a past life. Just me. I went back to cooking, hitting the gym, and taking long evening walks. I reconnected with friends I hadn't seen in months, and I remembered what it was like to laugh without hesitation, to sleep without emotional noise, to live without waiting for someone to love me the right way. And I realized that was the real victory. Not hurting her, not replacing her, just outgrowing her. Sophie had thought our breakup would be loud. Fights, begging, storms. Instead, it was quiet. And that's what destroyed her. Because there's nothing more terrifying to someone who's hurt you than realizing you're not angry. You're just done. 3 months pass. 90 days since I walked out without looking back. In those months, Sophie tried everything to get through to me. Messages, missed calls, late-night voicemails beginning with "I just want to talk" and ending in tears. I never responded, not because I hated her, but because I had finally learned to love myself more than I ever loved the version of her I used to cling to. She sent me photos from trips we had taken, pictures of my old hoodie that she still slept in, saying it still smelled like me. At one point, she even messaged my sister Claire, asking if she thought I would ever forgive her. Claire didn't reply. My sister understood the depth of what I had been through. She saw the nights I'd sat on her couch, numb, try to come to terms with the truth, that a kiss, just a kiss, had shown me something I could never ignore. Then one night, everything finally snapped for Sophie. I was sitting in a small restaurant downtown, not fancy, but warm. Wooden tables, soft music, and dim lighting. I was there with someone, not a new relationship, but someone who made me feel seen. Her name was Eva. We had met by chance at a bookstore when I was buying a novel I hadn't read in years. We chatted briefly, laughed, and then she walked away, leaving a smile that stayed in my mind all week. We had only gone out a couple times since, but every conversation with her felt easy. No tension, no walking on eggshells, just two people sharing moments without pretension. That night, while we waited for our food, my phone buzzed. It was Sophie again, but this time it wasn't a text or a call. It was a video. I hesitated before opening it. It was Sophie, sitting on the edge of her old bed, her hair messy, eyes swollen. "Lucas," she began, her voice shaky, "I know you hate me. I know I broke your heart, and maybe I don't deserve your time anymore. But I don't know how to stop loving you. I can't eat. I can't sleep. Everything in this house reminds me of you." She paused and wiped her face. I thought I was strong enough to handle space between us. I thought I'd find clarity. But the only thing I found is that I was an idiot to think a kiss meant nothing. She went on, her voice breaking. "I know you're probably with someone new, And I don't blame you. But if there's any part of you that still remembers how we used to love each other, please just tell me it's not too late. I stared at the screen for a long time, but for the first time in months, I didn't feel anger or sadness. I just felt nothing. Whatever we had, whatever it used to be, was gone. Her voice didn't break me. Her tears didn't move me. Her regret didn't matter, because the man she wanted back no longer existed. Eva must have noticed a change in my expression because she leaned in slightly and asked, "Everything okay?" I nodded. "Yeah, just closure." And I meant it. A few days later, Sophie showed up at my apartment. She was standing in the hallway, holding a coat that was too light for the weather. She looked around like she was afraid someone might see her. "Lucas," she whispered, "please." I stepped aside and let her in. She stood in the living room, looking around like it was unfamiliar to her. "This is nice," she said, trailing her fingers along the bookshelf. "What are you doing here, Sophie?" I asked. "I needed to see you," she replied. I had to say it in person. I was selfish. I didn't realize what I had until I lost it. I thought you'd come back. I thought you'd be angry, but eventually forgive me. I didn't expect this silence. She paused, a tremor in her voice. "You didn't fight. You didn't yell. You just vanished. And that hurt more than any breakup ever could." I nodded slowly. That silence was everything I never said while I tried to hold us together. She stepped forward, but I raised a hand to stop her. "Is there even a small chance you'd give us another try?" she asked. I searched her face, looking for any trace of the old connection, but there was nothing. "I'm not the same man you walked away from," I said, "and you're not the woman I used to love." She opened her mouth to protest, but I stopped her. "You don't get to destroy the house and then ask to move back in because you miss the furniture." Tears fell from her eyes, but I didn't move to comfort her. That was the difference. Before, I would have rushed to soothe her pain. Now I understood. Her pain wasn't my responsibility anymore. She stayed for a few more minutes, probably hoping for a change of heart, but I remained quiet, composed. Finally, she whispered, "I'll go," and I let her. I closed the door behind her, exhaled, not because it was hard, but because it was final. That was the last time I saw Sophie in person. She still sends messages from time to time, mostly short, sad ones. Birthdays. "Hope you're well." Stuff like that. But I never reply. Walking away wasn't about punishing her. It was about rescuing myself. And I'm not going back to the fire just because she's finally learned how to scream. She once told me it was just a kiss, that she loved me, but now she understands what she didn't then. If it meant nothing to her, then I must have meant nothing too. And that's something no apology can ever fix.